Hello everybody and welcome back. In recent lessons, we have been discussing resiliency, stress, and development. If you haven't had a chance to tune into those lessons, I strongly urge you to go back and check them out. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Lauren. I work for a group called Compass Mark in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We provide a program called Leaders of Future Generations to a couple schools in our area where we seek out students who show leadership potential and we help them grow as individuals and as leaders. So we are bringing these lessons to you at home, given the circumstances where we are all kind of stuck in our homes right now. So I really hope that you're tuning in, and please feel free to share these with anyone else you know who has kiddos at home or anyone who you just think would enjoy them. Okay, let's get started. Today we are talking about and exploring our feelings. We're going to dive into different terms for our emotions, our body signals, and our anger management skills. But first, as always, let's check out our quote of the day. Our quote today comes from Irish poet and playwright Oscar Wilde. And Oscar said, "I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate them." Okay, we'll come back to that later. So what are emotions? Emotions are our mental reaction to or feelings to different situations. When we are young, we tend to learn four main emotions, and those are happiness, sadness, anger, and fear. But there are so many more, right? And as we get older, we start to learn all these new words for different feelings. So to start this off, I'm going to name a feeling. And I want you at home to try to guess what category from those four categories this feeling goes under. So to remind you, there's happiness, sadness, anger, and fear. Okay? All right. Gloomy. If you guess sadness, you got it right. Enraged. Anger. Content. Happiness. Nervous. That would be fear. Devastated. That would be sadness. Ecstatic. That would be happiness. Terrified. That would be fear. Annoyed. That would be anger. Now, I just only named 8. Hopefully you got them all right. If you didn't, that's okay. Especially words like ecstatic. You might not be that used to hearing. Hopefully my acting skills helped you out in those categories. But we might not know some of these words, and that's okay. There are literally so many words in every language to describe all these different feelings. So why do we have all these words? Why don't we just stick with happy, sad, angry, and scared for everything? Well, because not every feeling is created equal. They all have varying degrees to how we feel them. For example, if I told you that I was feeling annoyed versus feeling enraged, are those the same thing? Absolutely not. If I told someone in class that I was feeling annoyed that they keep doodling on their paper, then you might get the clue that I'm kind of upset about it and I want you to stop. But I'm not gonna throw the desk over because I'm so upset, right? But if I told you that I'm feeling enraged because you are doodling on your paper, then you might start to worry that I'm gonna kick you out of the class and send you to the principal, right? Because my feelings are way stronger than just feeling annoyed. So we have all these different feeling words so that we can better understand them and better communicate them to other people. Take this example as well. You have a friend of yours who comes up to you and they seem kind of sad. And you ask them how they're feeling. And they tell you that they're feeling kind of gloomy today. That might mean that they kind of woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or I don't know, didn't have a chance to shower that morning, or lost something that mattered to them. They're just kind of feeling a little sad, but not super sad. So I would probably try to help them feel better and hopefully they could cheer themselves up and move on. But what if you went to your friend who was feeling sad and you asked them how they were feeling and they told you that they were feeling devastated? Would that be different? It definitely would. The word devastated, that would give you the clue that something happened, right? Something is going on for them that is really causing a very strong feeling. And they might need more than just a pat on the back or a hug to make them feel better. So understanding that there are all these different words for our feelings helps us be a better friend, helps us be a better person, and helps us better understand who we are. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is our bodies and how our bodies actually can help us with our feelings. And some of you might not realize this, but your body sends these signals to you that try to help you understand that you're feeling something really strong. For example, I like this analogy. Do your parents have a car that when the person in the passenger seat is not wearing their seatbelt, it starts to yell at you or ding at you? I don't know about you, but I have a car like that. And the reason your car is doing that, although it might seem annoying at times, it's trying to tell you that someone in your car is not safe and that you need to handle it. You need to make sure they put their seatbelt on, because if you were to get into an accident or something dangerous were to happen, that person's safety is not being looked out for. So your body does the same thing when you're feeling an emotion. It starts to send these body signals to you to warn you. And I read somewhere that it actually takes like 5 seconds for your brain and your body, or for your brain to understand that you're feeling something, but your body feels it first. So a couple examples of what these are is like your heart does a lot. So when you're starting to feel really angry, your heart might start to beat quicker. And sometimes you can even feel like you can feel it in your ears or hear it in your ears. You might get headaches when you're feeling a really strong feeling, or a stomach ache, or maybe you start to shake or sweat, or maybe your face gets red or starts to feel warm. These are things that are beyond your control. So you didn't choose for them to happen. A really good example of this is being scared and getting goosebumps. So if I'm really frightened about something, then I might start to get goosebumps on my skin. But I can't look at my skin and say, get goosebumps, and make it happen, right? Because I don't have the control over that. So that's what a signal is. It's your body actually reacting to something beyond your control. So you didn't make it happen. Okay. There is a difference between that and, say, punching your wall, or throwing your remote control, or yelling at someone. These are choices that you made based on the emotion that you're feeling. Okay, so to be clear, your body is not responsible for the fact that you threw your remote control and broke it. You made that choice, okay? So we have to be able to discern what the differences there are between a signal and a reaction, because it's really important to understand that your body is trying to warn you of something. And when you feel that warning coming on, it's time to calm down. Even if it's a good feeling, okay? Even if you're super ecstatic because you just found out you're going to Disney World or something really cool. That's great. But some situations, you shouldn't be jumping out of your seat dancing because you're so excited. Maybe you need to calm down just a little bit. So when we're feeling a really strong reaction come on and we want to calm down, a great way to do that is to go back to what we learned in our resiliency lesson and take a couple deep breaths. So let's all do that again together right now, because it feels good and we deserve it, and you already know how to do it. So to remind you, we're going to breathe in through our noses and out through our mouths. 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out, 3 times. Take your time. Okay? In. Out. In. Out. Last one. In. Out. Feels good, right? Nice and relaxed. And again, you might feel a little lightheaded, and that's okay. It'll go away just because you're giving your brain a lot of oxygen that it needs and it wants, but we don't always give it to it. So it can really, it helps you calm down. It can actually help your heart rate start to calm down. and bring your emotions down with it so you can actually think clearer. When we're in that moment, when we're really upset about something or feeling something really strongly and our heart's racing and our breathing's going really fast, we don't usually make the best decisions, right? And we usually act on our emotions and do it really quickly because we're clouded by what's going on in our bodies and how we're feeling this immense emotion. So when you take a couple seconds to calm yourself down and take a couple deep breaths, you might actually make the better decision because you're thinking clearer about it. Hope that makes sense. Okay? So, one of the biggest emotions that we're going to talk about is, I'm getting emotional about my hair not staying where I want it to, is anger. Anger is a really big one because when we feel angry, it's a really strong emotion that often brings us to a point of doing something that we regret. Like I said earlier with those examples, it might be something regretful, like punching something you're not supposed to that could hurt yourself or damage property. You might throw something, you might yell at someone or try to hurt somebody else. You might even try to hurt yourself. And those are all really unhealthy ways to handle that emotion. As we learned before when we talked about stress and resiliency, there are a lot of ways that we can better get our emotions out. Maybe we journal, or we play a sport, or we exercise, or maybe we meditate, or write poetry, draw, paint. There's so many things that can help you get your emotions out. So don't choose the negative one or the unhealthy one. Those ones usually just lead to more upsetting things that happen later. So we want to try to find a positive activity that can help us redirect our emotions to something better. So when we're feeling really angry, there's a 3-step process we want to go through. And I know sometimes you're like, I don't have time for 3 steps. I'm really angry. But you got to try. The first thing is to stop right away. Before you let it get out of control, you have to stop yourself. And that takes a lot of self-control, which is not always the easiest thing to do. So we practice it. We stop ourselves. When you stop, you give yourself the chance to do number 2, which is think. Think through what could possibly happen, and also think that's those self-talk, positive self-talk, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow actually, that will help you calm yourself back down and think positively about the situation. And then choose the best action and go. So you want to stop, think, go. So we don't want to act impulsively when we don't think about things, and we don't want to do something that we could regret or hurt somebody else or hurt ourselves. Emotions are very important to understand. They help us learn how to manage them, but they also help us communicate them better to other people. And they help us understand other people's emotions too. So let's go back to the quote that Oscar Wilde shared with us. He said, "I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate them." Now, dominate sounds like a pretty intense word, which it is. But what I think Oscar Wilde is trying to tell us is that our emotions are not bad. They're good. We need emotions. It's what makes us human. But we have to find a way to use our emotions, embrace the way that they make us feel, and learn how to control them for ourselves. When we let our emotions control us, they control our thoughts and our actions, and sometimes it makes us not think very clearly, and it makes us do the wrong decision. So we want to make sure that we can control them, that we have a grasp on what we're feeling, and we can manage them. So here are some discussion questions for you to do at home to continue this conversation with those around you. For number 1, I would like you to try to name 3 varying degrees of one emotion. So for example, and don't use my example because that's cheating, instead of happy, we could say glad, content, ecstatic. We could say all 3 of those that are different degrees of feeling happy. So don't use that one, but find a new one and do that for number 1. Number 2, when was the last time you were really angry? So I want you to think back on the last time that you felt really angry and share that with whoever is around you. And number 3, how did you keep yourself calm when that happened? What did you do to keep yourself calm? If you didn't keep yourself calm, what do you know now that you could do to keep yourself calm or could have done? Great. Now time for our at-home activity suggestion, and I love this one because it involves acting and I think it's really fun. This is called How Do I Feel Charades. You can do this by using pieces of paper, or there are a couple apps you can find if you have a phone handy that allow you to put in different topics and it will randomly give you one. So that can work too. I'll try to figure out what that app is and list it in the info section below. But if you use slips of paper, you're going to take some time. You can do this as a group to write as many different feelings as you possibly can. And it's okay if you repeat them. That's not a big deal. But as many different feeling words as you can, one per page. Then you're going to crumple them up and put them into a hat or bucket or something to draw them from. Then you're going to take turns. One person will stand in front of everyone else, pull out a feeling and act it out, but without making any noise. Okay, so you can't talk. You can't be like, gosh, I'm really angry today. Okay, so it's just your facial expression and your body language to show how you're feeling that feeling. And it will be kind of remarkable to see how different people in your house play out different feelings, or the same feeling, but by different people. Take turns and try to guess what the other person is feeling. If you guess it right, then you get to go next. I hope you guys really enjoy that at-home activity, and I hope you've enjoyed this lesson on emotions and body signals and anger management skills. Please leave a comment with your thoughts or questions, or just say hi below. I would love to hear from you. Be well, be safe, and I will be seeing you soon.